It's me. Okay, so I haven't done the video ministry stuff in a long time, haven't I? It's been too long, and I apologize. It's been quite a year this year. Focusing on my piano playing, my music that I wrote for my CD that I made that came last month, and you know, the journey that I took with my dad as he was dying, and then he died in June. So life goes on, and that's what he wanted. All right, so today I want to talk to you about fear. We have so much garbage going on in this world, especially with like the media. Their job is to invoke fear in us, and that's a shame. So we have enough fears. We have fears when we almost get hit by a car when we're traveling. We have fears when, I don't know, we have a roof leak and we don't know how bad it is and we don't know where the leak is. We have fears when we send our children out into the world as young adults. What's going to become of their life? We have fears when we go to the doctor's office, and what they might say about our health. We have fears about maybe our spouse not loving us one day. We have so many different excuses to have fear. And they're not just excuses. Sometimes they're good reasons to have fear. So, excuse me. I want to tell you an example of a fear that I had one day. It was a physical fear. I was arrowhead digging with a friend. This was a few years ago. And I kept hearing something traipsing through the woods, and I just kind of brushed it off because I'm a hiker and I don't really have a lot of fear of the woods. But this was big, and it was getting closer, and it wasn't a deer. There's a difference. So we were busy digging, and I was trying to ignore the sound, and it kept getting closer. And we're in the middle of about a 200-acre forest, section of the forest. Well, it was a bear. It was a big bear. There's bigger bears, but this one was the biggest one that I'd ever seen. Well, it was the only one that I'd ever seen personally up close in the wildlife. It was about a 200-pound bear. So that's probably the size of like a teenage bear. Well, I had a mattock and a short shovel, because that was my two digging tools to arrowhead dig, which I just happened to find an arrowhead that was worth like a few $1,000s that day. So I was really happy. And then when the bear came, I couldn't even imagine continuing digging. So I had to focus my attention on my welfare and my friend's welfare, and fear started coming over me. The friend I was with was a hunter. We had no hunting tools to defend ourselves except for the mattock and the short shovel. But I felt safe because he made me feel safe by saying, it'll be okay. So there was like this fork in the tree, and we're both with our faces looking through this fork in the tree, keeping our eye on him, right? And he got distracted because I didn't know how we were gonna like bolt. Like, I knew we had to go. Like, the show was over. We were done digging for the day. It was time to go. the bear got a Mountain Dew bottle stuck in his teeth. One of those plastic Mountain Dew bottles. Now, I am not an advocate for littering. I'm a trail fairy, and when I go out in the woods, I always carry like a garbage bag with me, and I spend more time picking up other people's trash than I get to enjoy my environment. What do you do, right? So I was actually really glad for the person that left this plastic Mountain Dew bottle behind, because the bear had the bottle in his mouth and he was wrangling his head back and forth and back and forth. It was stuck. Guess what? That was our way of escape. He was distracted and we had opportunity to get. Now, we didn't run or anything like that. It wasn't a situation like that, but I walked really fast. Really fast. I didn't like how I felt. I didn't like the welling up of the heat my body made, all the physical aspects of what happened when I was fearful. But the Lord provided a way of escape that day. So, in one other instance that I remember being fearful, I used to fly, I still do now and again, planes, small planes, Cessnas. I like Cessnas. I can fly Cubs and Scouts, but I like Cessna planes. And I remember the first time, and I've said this on one of my earlier videos a long time ago, but I remember the first time that my instructor got out at the beginning of the runway when we were doing our flight check, and he told me that, no, he got out, like, on the runway. And his name was Lucas. And he said that I asked him where he was going. And he said that today was my day. And I argued and said, no, we'll do it the next time. And he said that I was more than able to take the plane up by myself. So it was my first solo flight. Taking off was great. No problem at all. It's easy breezy. Then I got up there and I realized how alone I was, like alone. And let me move this up. There we go. So I got up there and I asked myself, Crista, what have you got yourself into? Okay, we're up here. At some point, we have to get down. What will I do? Well, I'll do what I was taught to do, and that was to land. Somehow, some way, safely. I remember how alone I felt. Like, it was just me and God. And it reminds me of this scripture, if I can see without my glasses. I'm in the wrong section. It's 1 John 4:18. If I can. My fingers are cold. It's getting cold. Okay, 1 John 4:18 says, there is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love. Well, there's physical fear and spiritual fear. That was a spiritual fear that I had when I was up there. I just felt really alone. But I was like, okay, God, you know, it's like totally me and you. And he got me through. I landed. Sorta. I came in. I did good. My wheels touched, but I bounced. Like a beach ball. So, God was with me, and I had to just put my faith in him to, you know, get me down with the knowledge that I had about flying. Okay, so today we have a lot of spiritual fear. We have fear about loneliness, being alone, I wrote a comment the other day on a post. It's okay to be alone. It's not okay to be lonely. I've noticed that when I've been set apart from the world and I'm alone and it's just like, me and God, that it's my time to really hear from God and to be a good listener. And he doesn't speak to me audibly. I've heard people that say that he speaks to them audibly. Well, I'm not that privileged, but he speaks to my mind and my heart and gives me like knowledge and knowings and understandings. And I'm grateful for that. That's how I feel like he communicates with me. And he also communicates through me through this thing. This is pretty important. So the other verse that I want to share, and I'll close, and I might throw in one more little story. John something or another, 8:32. It says, "Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Jesus was talking to his disciples about belonging to Christ, and they didn't feel that they did belong to Christ, and he assured them that they did. There's been walks in my faith where I didn't know where I belonged. I didn't feel like God loved me anymore because something tragic happened to me, or I was set apart from the world for too long, like literally isolated or whatever. But he assured me the whole time that he had me in his hands. Remember that song when we were kids? He's got the whole world in his hands. That's me and you. And I know there's a lot of weird, crazy stuff going on in the world. I can't even begin to understand it. But what I do understand and what I do know is that I'm loved, you're loved, and our Father in heaven loves us so dearly. And I don't know where you are in your walk in life right now. There's been a lot of death around me this year. Some people have committed suicide. I can't imagine that loneliness. But I want to give you hope that you're not alone. I wasn't alone in the woods. Yeah, I had somebody with me, but I was terrified of that bear. And that's not the first bear I've come across. The next one was a little easier. He was a lot bigger though, but I didn't feel the same kind of fear. And I just want you to know that wherever you are right now, whether you're in your home, somebody else's home, looking for a home, sleeping in your car, sleeping on someone else's couch, whether you're here in the United States or overseas, you're not alone. And I know somebody who loves you very much. And he wants a relationship with you. And if you don't know how to have a relationship with him, tell him. Just say, I don't know who you are, God. I don't know what you're all about. I hear your name a lot these days, but I really don't know who you are. And lean into that. Listen. I'll bet you'll feel a little bit better that your load has been lightened when you learn to lean on a power greater than yourself. And I'm talking about God. So, all right, I got to practice up on these videos. I was doing pretty good last year, I guess, but thanks for watching. I appreciate all the support I've had over this past year as you guys went along with me while my dad was dying, and you offered a lot of support for me, and I'm very grateful for that. It was a hard time for me, but I was grateful that I had my piano and the music that God inspired me to play during that time. It was some place to place the emotions and the feelings that I was having. Because I was afraid too. I was afraid, what would life look like without Daddy? Well, it's different. And I miss him. But I just press a little bit more into God, and He gives me the comfort that I need just for today to make it through, right? All right. Well, I look forward to seeing you on the next video, and I will be posting these videos and uploading them over to my YouTube channel that I need to build back up, Abundant Wholeness, and you can follow me over there. You can also review some of my older videos. I'm kind of silly in some of them, but thanks for coming along. We're fixing to have a cat fight. You guys want to see a cat fight? This is going to be amazing. Watch. Psst. Go away, kitties. Oh my goodness. Yeah, they fight a lot. You hear them? Listen. Okay, they could do this for a long time. I'll go over there and separate them. Kitties, go! Alright, I'm gonna go. Love and hugs. I'll see you on the next video. Have a good evening.